Deep within Mordheim, where sunlight dares not reach, whispers echo of a legendary shard. Deep within the catacombs, a shard of purest WardStone. The great green spike pulsates with malevolent light. Only the most elite warbands clawing their way through endless nightmare and decay are worthy to lay their eyes upon it. Upon its jagged surface, tapestries and flags tell grim tales of champions past, their triumphs and final follies. Will a new mark be carved today? The fate of legends hangs in the balance.
Today's music has been kindly donated by Grotesque Misalignment. If you're into metal music, his new album just dropped, and you can find a link to his Bandcamp in the description. This week, I got on a call with Get Tabled, and we're going to do a collaboration where he's going to film a battle report using my Mordheim Catacombs board, and I'm going to build a centerpiece to kind of finish off the board in its entirety. His idea was to mirror Black Rock Mountain from WoW, and I thought I'd take a WardStone spin on that, making it a shrine of a giant WardStone shard to kind of draw the warbands to this area. I've never played it, so I might get this wrong, but apparently different teams would start from the outside and work their way in and have a skirmish in the middle. My only problem with this design is there's not a lot of verticality with this piece in the center, so I modeled something up in Blender, and we're gonna build onto this. So I think that will be a really cool feature. So I kind of started this project with a false start. I wanted to make this round disc on the top with this star. I cut off all the corners to make this kind of a round candelabra. I wanted a lot of braziers and a lot of play area on the top of this, but it was really top heavy visually, and it kind of blocked a lot of line of sight from the players to the ground level. So I just decided to tear it off and start over again and go with a much simpler base for the giant WardStone shard, and then work some scaffolding around this, which was my plan all along, but I wasn't planning on having the scaffolding being the main focal point. I glued down this smaller base with the shard on top just to kind of get an idea of what it was looking like, to make sure I was going in the right direction, and I was much happier with this simpler, much slimmer starting point. After gluing all these pieces together, I made a cork base using 4 fingers width around the base pillar to make sure I had enough room for all the scaffolding I was going to build around it. And I'm going to be using balsa wood for this. I also use some barbecue skewers to make sure that the posts were really stable inside this cork. And I just stabbed them right in and glued them in with hot glue. I ripped these planks in half with 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch dowel, and ripping those in half with a scalpel blade makes it look like it's been hewn by an axe and has a really inconsistent texture and width, so that when you line these all up together, it adds a lot of dimension. And then I just kind of glued them in place. I'm using super glue gel for this because it fills in gaps and gives a lot of surface area, and I can use super glue accelerant spray to make this an instant bond. I get all my super glue gel from the Dollar Tree, and I've done the math, and this is the cheapest way to get super glue gel in the individual bottles. A miscast video just came out. Honestly, when I'm in the middle of a project, especially when it's first getting started, that's the hardest part for me to get finished, is just keeping going. So posting pictures on the Discord or on Instagram, or I've been posting daily pictures on the Patreon. It really helps me get motivated and get other opinions and I don't know, having friends excited for a build as I am really helps me out and gets me through those initial building stages. My favorite part of the build is getting things finished. So anything like painting or those like little final details, and I look forward to when I start a project. I ran out of my 1/4-inch square dowel, so I switched over to my 1/8-inch dowel, and this is something I don't really use all that often because it's thinner and it's less stable, but it was really nice for the top of this because it conformed to the round shape of the center pillar, and the smaller planking kind of added a lot more detail and dimension. So since I have so much of this, I'm definitely going to be using this in the future. To add more structure to this leaning giant WardStone shard, I'm going to tie it down with some miniature ropes. And I use pipe cleaners for this, and I just burn off, kind of shrink wrap all that fuzziness with the lighter, and it does a really great job of mimicking rope. And the nice thing is it has an armature in it, so you can just wrap it on itself. To make this piece feel a lot more tied into the catacombs itself, I'm adding a ton of different tombstones, statues, and different types of potential relics and shields from dead warriors long gone, and a bunch of other things that I might be putting banners and other things. I put a lightning rod on the top of this to catch all the WardStone lightning that might be coming off of it, to protect the Skaven shaman. And then around the outside of the cylindrical pillar, I put a bunch of Grim Reapers just to kind of hit home the catacombs theme. And the very last thing I built was some ladders out of that dowel, and I glued them in, and it was ready for prime. After priming, I pulled out my airbrush because I wanted to do some object source lighting with the WardStone shard. And so I highlighted each individual polygon, and I just tried to get into the middle of each one of those because those are closest to the center, and as they get closer to the corners, they won't be as bright. After highlighting it yellow, I went over with a plasmatic bolt speed paint to give it that green hue, and it worked really, really great. I almost felt like I knew what I was doing. I wouldn't say, maybe it's not object source lighting, but I wanted to do some like undertone painting so that all the colors that I put on top of the wood just has a hint of green, and anything that shines through to the black kind of leans toward that green as well. I do have an affiliate link in the description that this company provided to me after giving me one of their free airbrushes. So if you're interested in an airbrush, feel free to check that out in the description. I do think it's a really good product. So I'm not doing anything remarkable here. I'm just using Dollar Tree paints to paint this terrain. So I'm not gonna just get in too much detail here, but while I'm painting, I'm gonna shout out Get Tabled again, because I would really like you guys to go over there and subscribe so you could see the battle report we're filming together. Go check out his Mordheim videos too, because he answers a lot of questions that are commonly asked, and he also breaks down the individual war bands and gives a lot of great tips over there as far as gameplay, and that's something I don't really cover and I'm not particularly good at yet. So go check out his channel, and I'm really looking forward to play with him. The whole backstory behind this centerpiece is that it's a badge of honor to get your name or your warband's banner onto this monument. So as a thank you to my Patreon members, I'm putting each one of their names onto this effigy, and thank you guys so much for that. If you're interested in supporting your channel and potentially getting your name on this monolith too, go check out the Patreon. It's only $2 a month. And if you're not interested in supporting the channel, let me support you in your hobby. I have a ton of free STLs, templates, actually not just a ton, everything over there is completely free. So go check it out and let me help you get better at building, and join our free Discord if you're interested. All right. Oh, and I always kind of forget to mention this, but Mordheim is a free game to play. So go check out broheim.com, download it, and just become a part of this community. It's a really great place, and it's just a great world to dive into. I'm really happy with how this build turned out. It might just be the best thing I've made yet. I love the little details, and thank you so much for watching. Make sure you comment and like. Only 25% of people subscribe, so if you're new to the channel and this video hasn't earned your sub, go check out previous videos, and I bet one of those for sure, especially this Mordheim Catacomb board, will definitely earn your subscription. Alright, have a good one.